now it's finally time for us to talk about our beloved Rangers.
Yeah.
So I was legitimately scared going into this offseason because last offseason, well, like a lot of things happened and some things didn't happen that were also questionable. So Buchnevich got traded last year. Gauthier was still on the team. Hayek was still on the team. McKegg was still on the team. Hunt gets signed. Like, I'm not the biggest Hunt fan, but Hunt gets signed. This offseason, we have, what did we have? Probably 7-ish, 8-ish million to work with.
Yeah, 11 million to work with, but that was a number 2 center, a depth defenseman, re-signing Kakko and the backup goaltender. So, when you take Kakko's extension, it's about 8 million, 9 million.
Yeah. So before I get into any signing made yesterday, Drury was able to unload Patrick Nemeth's contract.
Huge.
Yes, extremely huge. The only downside, we had to give up a 2nd and 3rd round pick, which I don't mind a little bit, but half of me doesn't mind, but the other half of me does, because when those picks are going to be forfeited, that's probably going to be our prime contention window when we could use those picks to make a major move. That's the only downside I see in this move.
That's why people didn't like the Nemeth signing when it was made last year, and I didn't like it particularly much either.
Yeah, that's I did forget to bring that up. Nemeth got signed last year,
and the options were to either bury him in the AHL, buy him out, or trade him. And I think I agree with you in this sense. I think if the offer was on the table to trade Nemeth's full contract without giving up a 1st round pick, yeah, I do it. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I also like the defensive prospect the Rangers got back. His name is
Ty Emberson.
Ty Emberson. You know who he was? He used to play on the University of Wisconsin, paired with Keandre
Miller. Yes, he was the 2018. What was it? 78th overall pick.
Yep, and he had 7 goals, 4 assists, or maybe 4 goals, 7 assists for 11 points in the AHL with the Tucson Rail Riders. And he was a -11, obviously not great plus minus numbers, but you got to ask yourself, who are the Rangers going to draft in those 2nd and 3rd rounds that they gave up to Arizona? Probably a defensive prospect. Now you have one who has experience with a player in your top 4. And you know what? Not for nothing, I know this is a little bit long-term thinking, but there's going to come a time in the next few years where Chris Drury is going to have to seriously consider trading Jacob Trouba. And by that time, if Trouba's gone, you're going to need somebody to slot right in there with Keandre Miller. Maybe Emberson is that guy. So,
possibly. And we also have the Niels Lundqvist trade chip. That's going to be a very interesting one, how that one plays out. But you know who we haven't even mentioned yet?
Who's that?
Vinny Trocheck's a Ranger, baby.
There he is. Your lookalike, your doppelganger. Kind of look like Vinny Trocheck shades a little bit. Got the facial hair.
Actually, you know what?
You got the facial hair going on.
That's not totally off base.
I think it's a compliment. It's a compliment.
Hey, if only I was good at hockey, but
I'll take the compliment. That's a different story.
I'll take the compliment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember as this was transpiring yesterday, Vinny Trocheck going to be a Ranger. I'm like, good, a 2-way forward, great defense, great defensive forward. He can put up points. He can score. You put him next to Panarin, he might hit his career high in points. He's good on the penalty kill. He's good at 5-on-5. He wins faceoffs. Oh my God, he wins faceoffs.
That's the one.
And then immediately we saw the tweets. 7 years. And I'm like, excuse me, what? What? 7 years? I'm like, this better be a reasonable AAV. Then it comes out 5.65. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't hate it.
You know what? Vinny Trocheck, is he signed for 2 more years? And I think most fans would be comfortable with. Yes, I
Yes.
think we'd like a 5-year deal. But guess what, guys? If you signed Vinny Trocheck for 5 years, you're not paying him anything close to 5.635 million. You're paying him close to 7 or 8 million. That's something the Rangers couldn't afford to touch.
Yeah.
So, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
Vinny Trocheck has put up 75 points. And you know who his coach was when he did that? When he scored his career high? It was Gerard Gallant in Florida. So again, playing alongside Panarin, look, Panarin made Ryan Strome look like a number 2 center. I'm sure Panarin can make Vinny Trocheck look like a number 1 center type of guy. And he doesn't need to be that guy on the Rangers. And you mentioned the faceoffs. He won faceoffs 54% of the time last year. The year before that, 56% of the time. I can't tell you the last time the Rangers had a player that won 56% of his faceoffs. It's going to be such a welcome sight.
I can't tell you the last time the Rangers had a positive faceoff guy in general.
Yeah, I think you got to go back maybe as far as Dominic Moore. That's probably as far back as you got to go. I remember Moore would win all those faceoffs back in the day.
Good time.
Miss him. I miss him, man.
Those were very good times.
Remember when he scored that only goal against Montreal in the conference?
Oh, in Game 6, absolutely.
Game 6. Take me back.
Definitely.
That's great. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean, this guy basically checked off every single box that the Rangers needed. And for a cap hit that for the first couple years of that deal is looking like it's going to be a bargain at the moment, especially if he's playing with Panarin.
Yeah, absolutely. The AAV is going to look like a bargain. It no doubt will. Maybe not in his age 35, 36 seasons, but for right now during our cup window, he is the perfect number 2 center. And he's a tough guy to play against, man. He is a relentless forechecker. He plays both ends of the ice. He was on power play unit number 1, so he can replace Strome on the man advantage. So yeah, just a ton of things to like, and Drury got his guy, and I'm happy that Ranger fans aren't overreacting to the 7 years and realizing what he brings to the team. Because quite frankly, if you replaced Ryan Strome with Vinny Trocheck in last year's playoff run, we might have just made it to the Cup final. Like it might have made that amount of difference if you had Cop too. So I really like the move. Good move for the Rangers. Necessary one. Finally, we have our number 2 center. And the last time we gave out a long-term contract to a center, I think you got to go back to Mike Richards, who we ended up buying out. Brad Richards, I'm sorry. Brad Richards. Yeah. We ended up buying out anyway. So
yeah, but hey, at least with Brad Richards, the Rangers did make an Eastern Conference final and a Stanley Cup final.
And a cup final, right? Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so
and they also brought in Ryan Carpenter too, who also wins more than 50% of his faceoffs. I know it may seem insignificant, but he takes Kevin Rooney's spot. Rooney was in the playoffs, that 4th line center for a majority of the playoffs. He couldn't win anything.
No, Rooney did not have a good playoff showing.
No, he did not.
No, I'm a little upset. Yeah, seriously, I'm a little upset that the Rangers weren't able to re-sign Mott, because I think that's a bigger loss than people are letting on. Because personally, Mott was my favorite 4th line forward this team has had over the last couple of years. That's just me.
No, I agree with you. Mott changed, in my opinion, Mott single-handedly changed the trajectory of that series against Pittsburgh when he came back in games, 5, 6, and 7 when the Rangers executed that comeback. He was a big reason why, him and Goudreau.
Yep.
But it looks like they're not going to be able to bring him back. But hey, I'm sure if every Ranger fan donated $5, we could pull together $2 million to bring Tyler Mott back. Yeah.
Hey,
it's not about the money; it's about the cap, right?
I'm all for it. So that basically, Rangers, we have a little bit to look forward to, and one thing to keep an eye on is the prospects going into training camp and how the line combinations are gonna all work out by the start of the season.
Yeah, I think there's just one more thing. I think there is a hole on the second line right wing at the moment, because what would your depth chart look like for the Rangers? Mine would be Kreider on the left, right? Zibanejad in the middle on the first line, Lafreniere on the right, and then you roll Panarin, Trocheck, Kakko, Blais,
this is
Hedel, Kravtsov, That's why you got to keep Kravtsov, because I think Kravtsov, Panarin, and Trocheck could just be that second line that we need. And yeah, it moves Kako and Hedel down to the bottom six, but what have they showed us? They've showed us nothing. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I want Kako to be a top six forward. I want him to produce like he did in the World Junior Championships a few years ago. Just doesn't look like that player at this point. But I hope to God he turns it around. I hope I look back at this video a year from now and Kako put up 65, 70 points. I really do.
That would be wonderful.
It would.
My personal opinion, Laugh should stay on the left side because I just thought he looked a lot better and more comfortable on the left side. That's just my
Then
personal opinion.
Who's your first line right wing though? Because Vetrano.
Yeah, that's when it gets. Honestly, I would move Kreider over
Okay.
and put
Okay.
Laugh on the left side.
Okay. That is one possible solution.
Yeah, that's a story for like going into the regular season.
Definitely.